Dynamic duo.
It has stuff.
I know.
Guess he's gonna set up first.
Okay.
He wants markers.
Do you need the table still, or?
I don't think so. I know.
Okay, why don't you move the table then? Thought you guys needed it, that's why I left it there.
Okay. You ready?
Yes.
You ready? Okay, I'll start. Alright everybody, today we're going to be going over how we would survive the zombie apocalypse. We're going to go through a few points. The first one is preparing. What you want to go, if you're going to rush out of the house for a survival situation, you're going to want a nice coat, preferably with this, because that will protect against insects better than most sprays. At least where you're wearing it, obviously. You're going to want to not wear anything like skinny jeans or anything for dexterity sake, and probably not shorts because of weather and cutting your legs is a no-go. Like these pants, they're fine. You'll have plenty of dexterity, but they won't cumbersome you at all. And what we want to do is we're going to go and try to get a truck and a trailer and go over to preferably Home Depot, probably Lowe's because it's closer. We collect 2x4s, plywood, and concrete mostly, some paracord, and then we would go over to some farm stores and get rabbits and chickens. You'll see why later. And then we would move on and drive over to a trail area over in Sisters at Three Creeks Lakes where we found a nice freshwater spring. And we're going to need to do some building, but I'll let Levi explain that to you.
So, some basic structures we would build is... So, obviously, we can't spend the night on the ground. That's just not going to work because if the zombies just show up, then we're going to be screwed. So, thankfully, the location we chose has a lot of tall pine trees. So, if this and this were a trunk, we can use the 2x4s to connect on this side and this side, nail them in, and then do a sheet of plywood on top with some rails. This may not have much structural integrity, but it's also just for sleeping. Also,
Keep going.
Also, some lookout platforms we will have around is built in a similar fashion with the trunk of the tree and this time 4 2x4s around.
It's falling again.
And a sheet of plywood somewhat like that, just like not hanging out over here, like probably like that. And railing. This is so if the zombies show up in a just like while we're out doing stuff, then we can get into the trees and stay there until they leave or we figure out how to deal with them. But you may have noticed there is one thing that we are forgetting: food.
So for food, we're going to do the bunnies and rabbits. Before you have heard me talk about bunnies and how in 1 year a breeding trio of bunnies can produce 1.5 cows, which is a lot of meat, but they're incredibly lean, so you're going to need fat. That's where the chickens come in. The chickens come in to have fat and eggs. Eggs are nice. I preferably don't like them, but in an apocalypse situation, they'll taste amazing because everything tastes better when you're starving. And there's also going to be a water spring right here. And the water spring is a small one that runs down in some dirt and such. We don't want that. We're going to use the concrete that we collected earlier to make a base for it. You dig a hole, preferably a flat with little flanges so they'll corral the water, and that'll create a steady base so that it's already clean. And then we're going to try to plant potatoes. Potatoes are amazing because they're basically snack foods and you can grow them anywhere. And if that's what we're going to need. The string goes down and you go under where the fences is to have a big garden growing whatever seeds you're able to get. And then after that, we have to build some pens for the chicken and rabbit. Preferably tall enough with a roof so that they're protected from the weather, because weather is really harsh here, if you haven't noticed. Anyways, and enough walls and stuff to where small predators can't get in and take them. because we're gonna have roosters, and if we lose a rooster, our chicken supply will die out. But there's other ways to get food, like hunting. But we'll let Levi handle that one.
Yes, so as you can see, this is all well and good, but we still have to wait for the potatoes to grow and the chickens to lay eggs. So this isn't a fully sustainable food source. So we'll use hunting and foraging to fill in the gaps.
We're gonna need a volunteer.
Thank you, Carson.
Thank you. Carson.
Carson will come and help me hunt. You don't have to come up, we're just making fun of you. So Carson will help hunt. Some strategies that we could use is setting snares. Snares are incredibly effective. We can set them at the entrance of furrows and along tracks. We can just leave and come back to check later. Another strategy is having a pellet gun. Real guns like 22s not only blow the chipmunk apart, but also attract zombies. So pellet guns, and then blinds would also be very effective, because the last time we tried to go hunting, we were more like, squirrel! Pop, pop, pop! That didn't work, so instead we're gonna have to set up blinds. A blind is basically like you hide behind bushes so they can't see you. It's kind of like a camouflage thing, but we're gonna need more permanent structures.
Yeah, I think I'll try to handle that one. So for the houses, the tree house that we have now is fine, but give it a season or two and it'll rot and decay and you'll fall down and break yourself. There's rocks everywhere. You don't want that. You'll try to clear up some rocks and create more permanent housing for chickens and whatever. Everything you have, you try to wall off. We are going to want to continue with trees, but the shear strength of nails is great, but you usually don't want that. So there's a really cool trick you can do. Wooden nails will actually hold in better with moving wood, because it's wood. It'll bond with it actually. And you'll want to build in more walls and stuff so that you're safer. And then after that, like I said, the concrete, you can make a split in that and use what's called a charcoal filter. You're gonna run, and you can like burn wood, make lump charcoal, and you put that in where water will flow down and it will drop down in drips. And that will collect all the water and filter it so that if there's anything else in the water, you'll be okay. And after that, we're gonna need a few defenses so that we're safe. But Levi's better at that stuff.
Right, so some defenses we can use is a medieval type of fence. I can't quite remember what it's called, but it involves taking a log, resting it at a 45-degree angle or lower, sharpening the tip, and supporting it like this. Now, this obviously isn't going to do much, as you can just climb over or around or through it, but it will give us time to get to safety. And another thing that you might overlook is there's a lot of trees everywhere. There's big trees all around, so we can use paracord to string between the trees. Now, tight might be effective, but actually loose would be more. So we will string loose paracord across like this. Now, we, being sane people, well, somewhat sane, can easily get through the gaps by lifting the top one or two up and then crawling through. But insane people, like us, would have a hard time because they wouldn't see it and get tangled in it, also giving us time to get to safety. Now, we'll close with a couple of Bible verses.
So all this preparing is great and such, but Proverbs 21:31 tells us the horse is prepared against the day of battle, but safety is of the Lord. You can prepare all you want and stuff, but you won't be safe if you're not trusting the Lord. If you trust the Lord, there will be a lot more room for merriment. There's also Psalms 4:8. I can rest myself down and sleep, for the Lord is the one who gives the Lord is the only one who gives safety. Now, it is great to trust the Lord for your safety because, to be honest, you're in His hands. Thank you for letting us talk.